open course for the virgin sea. I got to be free. Free to hang out with my best friend Ming Wong Lee. Oh, did someone say Ming Wong Lee? Hi, everybody. I know I'm starting a little early, so let me just bang out a song while you guys file in. I got a very funny one for you today. All right. Hi, everybody. Oh, me from China. Look at the panda bear. The panda bear cannot survive in the wilderness, but we ship it to your country very, very cheap. No shipping costs. But you have to sit with your leader and tell the secrets to the panda bear. The panda bear is a drunk midget in panda outfit. Oh, no way. Oh, no, me have no penis. The rain falls on the penis. Good morning, Professor 3 Bear. Hello, Coddington. KO Bear, WSB, 2 Acre ND Bear. We got a good crew already. Coming in hot. I'd like to show you guys my new website as you guys file in. This is owenbenjamin.com. It's about time I made a website. I mean, I had hugepianist.com for a very long time. I still have that, but I haven't updated it or anything. You know, I think I've matured past a dick joke being my website. So we have About Owen, comedy specials, popular streams, social channels here, popular interviews, popular streams, full archives at unauthorized.tv, supporting supporters at unbearablesmedia.com, beartariatimes.com, app.beartariatimes.com, which is family friendly, and unbearablesmerchandise.com, so Ryan doesn't kill me. So this is my story, and I recommend that anybody that sees the media do what the media do, yo. Just throw a link to my website wherever people are commenting, and anywhere, even troll Gamma Hive sites. Just throw my website in and have people discover for themselves who I actually am. The Wild Journey of Owen Benjamin. So you got all this here. From a small town with big dreams. Well, who's that lesbian? That's me. Making a name among the famous. After studying internationally to obtain a degree in tyrannical government takeovers, literally that's my degree from college, by the way. With a focus in the Holocaust, Owen went to Hollywood where he grew a thriving career making a name for himself as an established comedian and actor. Stubborn for truth and comedy, Owen became known for never pulling punches on social media, exposing the industry for being a tool of social conditioning and shameless hypocrisy. Never letting social status or money get in the way of what needed to be said, and what many quietly agreed with, Owen prioritized truth and comedy above all. As you can see here, this is one of my classic tweets. Every person in this photo, same political party, endorsed the same candidate, same stance on every issue. Ladies and gentlemen, quote-unquote comedy. And then defending children. Owen was one of the only established comedians to speak out against agendas to normalize child abuse with hormone-altering drugs and sexual exploitation. Fighting this agenda publicly resulted in his exile from Hollywood. Just lost $7,500 for my views on transgender children. The University of Connecticut is providing you with notice to cancel the comedy show featuring Owen Benjamin on October 25th, 2017. Owen turned to social media to express views on certain marginalized communities. 5-year-olds, you're pretending to be girls? That's a marginalized community? No, that's sexual role play with children. As the comments continued on the evening, the tone in the remarks became increasingly negative in sentiment. Subog does not believe, is that a demon? Subog? Does not believe that this comedian will garner the attendance of undergraduate students on the night of the event. Subog has a mission of bringing acts that will cater to the undergraduate students it serves. No, that isn't what it is at all. All right, banned from Patreon loses lawsuit with Owen Benjamin. Fans likely to pay millions in arbitration and legal fees. Owen doubled down on truth and refused to compromise or take the path of manipulative money and accolades, also called lollipops and fancy pants. As a result, his audience grew rapidly, and his live streams began pulling more views than mainstream news outlets, rolling out hours of hilarious content daily. Having this level of reach and influence without giving into the manipulations to push agendas or avoid topics made Owen a major target for deplatforming from various services involved in the attempt of social conditioning the public. Homesteading. As Owen sought to find solutions in an atmosphere that hyper-focused only on problems, he found that taking responsibility, being self-sustainable and self-reliant is the right path forward. As a result, he became one of the biggest advocates for people homesteading and growing their own food wherever they are, even if it starts with a seed on a city balcony. Building alternatives. Owen began thoroughly understand the criminal nature and mechanisms used to actively discriminate and slander both him and his audience. By not bending to the social agendas of the perverted and destructive news media, the path forward was to begin to build his own platform and services where he can be free to speak his mind and connect with others who want to be part of the good, the true, and the beautiful. Of course, we have Unauthorized.tv, a project that myself and the great Vox Day have been working on for years now and is doing quite well. Unbearables Media, where you can find all the Bear creators, because the world's full of artists that, unless you endorse pedophilia, you don't get too much screen time these days, but you can at unbearablesmedia.com. The Bertaria Times, inside the castle walls of family-friendly homesteading businesses, all kinds of stuff. Bertaria Times app and unbearablesmerchandise.com, where you can get your allegedly hoodies and all kinds of great stuff. And the more you buy from there, the more Ryan doesn't murder me in my sleep, allegedly. No one is having more fun than us. Owen is considered the most accomplished comedian by creating a thriving independent career where he is free to think and speak his mind. Owen Benjamin has refused to remain silent on the issues that strain communities and societies as a whole. So now you can go to my social channels. I'm really glad we did this. You got BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, Telegram, Minds, Gab, VK, Brighteon, Parler. You go to my popular streams, some of the recent ones, and some of the older ones. We have What Killed MySpace, Pink Floyd's Time Magazine, Tom Barnett, Barricade Garage, The Dean Show, Blonde from Belly of the Beast, comedy specials. So yeah, share this wherever you can. Let people know the actual story of me. Owen has been blacklisted by the clubs that support child sex changes and think black people are not intelligent enough to hear certain words. Guys, that's the actual truth. These people are they don't think black people can understand jokes. Many can't. Many are that stupid, but a lot can understand. Like Barricade Garage is one of those black people that can understand white people humor. And so these clubs, literally, guys, I'm not exaggerating, unless you support child sex role play, which is all child's transgenderism is, a 3-year-old boy cannot display any characteristics of a girl, especially when you consider that these people are also claiming that gender doesn't exist. Okay, so I learned a long time ago that they don't care if they're hypocrites. You can say, well, how can there be a wage gap if there's no gender? They don't care. They go, well, you're not allowed at Wells Fargo now. Okay, so what I realized a while ago is you have to become more self-reliant, more community reliant, and understand God as a plan, and vengeance is mine, says the Lord, which is true. And I got a little Trinity gravy today. I actually have an argument. I'll get to it. I had a profound realization last night, and I know I don't usually like talking about this stuff, but I think I understand why people say Jesus is God. Because it's been really disturbing to me for a while, seeing all these people do what I consider blasphemy. And I finally think I understand like an argument for it. I'll get to that. Stay tuned. It's very interesting. But what was I just talking about? I don't remember. The website? When you hold the line of the good, the true, and the beautiful, the wicked all perish. And I've watched it over and over again. All these comedians in clubs are doing really bad. And we're doing really, really good. So, yeah. So anyway, here are the specials. You're doing great, kid. Full HD special. Conspiracy queries. You're doing great, kid was shot in a airport hangar in Ohio. Conspiracy queries was shot in Las Vegas at a local library. Guys, I've been blackballed, like legitimately blackballed for a while. People want to pretend, oh, I'm shadow banned on Twitter. Okay. I'm not allowed in theaters and clubs, and I'm one of the best comedians alive. Fact. And I'm not bragging. I'm showing the juxtaposition between, it's not acceptable at all. And so I figured out that's why I'm not against the government, because public libraries actually hold the free speech laws better than any private company. Private companies all can be bought unless you have firm morality. That's why, like, our companies, Unauthorized, Bertari Times, all these things, we don't accept outside funding or debt. So because of that, we actually can have more freedom. But anyway, here we go. Conspiracy queries, American Southwest, a topic, and then we have How Dare Me was from the City Hall in Saranac Lake, New York. And I have a bunch more. I have Black and White, Reluctant Warlord shot in a wood shop in Portland, Oregon. Legendary family allowed me to do that. Just the Redmonds, really, really good people. And then we have High Five Till It Hurts shot in Austin, Texas for Comedy Central. Comedy Central presents Owen Benjamin as a half-hour special. Huge Pianist you can get on Amazon. You can also get Feed the Bear on Amazon or at unauthorized.tv. Feed the Bear was shot in, where was that? Manchester, England. And it's all good. So when you actually compile what my life has been in the last 5 years, it's really interesting. And so that's why if you want to let people know who I am, because people the amount of slander about me is nuts. And I understand it. I understand the slander. When someone as accredited as me and as liked, you'd be surprised how liked I was in the entertainment industry. People really, really liked me. Hang on. Thanks, God. And so to get people to hate me, it's like you have to really, really swing for the fence and call me a cult leader, a Nazi, blah, 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 blah. And so when you understand why, because the Hollywood entertainment industry was very threatened by me because I was one of the first people. There was disruptors happening while I was there. PewDiePie, all these people were getting their own careers outside of the beast, which was unheard of. Back in Shirley Temple's days, you got to deal with the studio and they banged you ever since you were 8 years old on a couch, and there's nothing you could do about it. By the time of like PewDiePie, the industry was throwing tons of money at people like me so that I wouldn't leave, so that I would stay in the beast. So I got a development deal at Sony and all these places to do non-traditional webisodes and stay in the beast. And then I just started leaving the beast. I was the first entertainer in history that had success in the beast and left. And I wasn't leaving with shame at the time. I was moving to Saranac Lake to be closer to my brother when I just had a baby and got married. And I wanted to put family first, And I still had representation at CAA and Principato Young and all these big management companies and agencies. But then my next special I produced because a bear literally won the lottery in England and just gave me 10 grand. And he was like, dude, I just won the lottery. Here's money how much money to shoot your own special. It's blessed doesn't begin to describe some of these events. And so I'm like, dude, that'll do it. You're the executive producer. Let's do this. He's like, great. And so we shot it and then crowdfunded some on Patreon because shooting specials aren't cheap, guys. It's like, but way cheaper than the Beast was doing, you know? And so I brought a couch for the dude who paid for it. And so he came with us on the whole tour. Just think about that. Think about how people can waste 10 grand. You could spend 10 grand on like a cruise and booze and gambling. Or you could spend it like on your favorite comedian shooting a special outside the Beast and you can be with him through the whole tour. Like that's a once in a lifetime opportunity, you know? And so, and be a part of that and like that dude started something really, really incredible. And so, then I could sell it on Vimeo and like the wheels were starting to move where it was like, oh my God, you don't need Hollywood. You don't need to let them rape you. And so, and censor yourself and have like a hunter named Chris Pratt, like endorse pedophilia. It's like insane. And so the more I stayed out, but then they had to hammer me down. You know, the media comes at me. They do all these like paid trolls and all this to just spend all day researching and trying to like make me look bad. But we made it through. And not only did we make it through, we've been building and building and building. And so as the Beast is wobbling now, the dreidel is running out of spin. We're in a really great place. And so I just want to show you guys the website. And I really hope you guys share it with people because I know some of you guys, Owen is often changing his streaming location and social platform due to discrimination and being a thorn and those trying to control the information landscape. Do you see how clear it is when you just say the truth? Like that's literally what it is. And so I'm kind of sick of everybody else getting to write my story and making it so absurd and just spin and wizardry and spells. And it's like, no, the truth is I'm a thorn in your little plans. And there's nothing you can do to me. I'm not tempting. I'm not taunting. I'm going to pull that line of thinking back. But it's like, this is my story. And I'm going to put this up here. And this is what it actually is. I'm from a small town. You know, I had no connections in Hollywood. I worked really hard. I got a lot of credits. I started revealing the reality of Hollywood and its political affiliations, its communist agendas. And not only was I not rejected for my views, look at those guys, that was right. That was early. 12,000 retweets, 24,000 likes. It got up to like 80,000 before they deleted my Twitter. Because you can't argue against the truth. You understand? And then I did lose my touring ability because I defended children. That's a fact. You can say whatever you want. Oh, he's just jealous of Joe Rogan. No, Joe Rogan's a midget. And by the way, up here in Idaho, when I did the skywriting of his height, I made sure people knew that he's not 5'3". He's 3.3 inches tall. By the way, just an FYI, if you follow me on any platform and you're offended that I'm making fun of other men's height, like, you suck. So just leave. There's two types of people that would comment on that. There's omegas and gammas. Gammas want to be me, and they're pretty evil. So I just ban them outright. Omegas, I kind of like them, but they don't understand social hierarchy. Like they literally, if they don't understand a joke, they'll just be like, no. Because they don't have a woman, they don't have a family, they don't have community. They're just like free radicals. You know, some of them call themselves incels, but there's incel gammas that are legitimately evil. You know, because they want to destroy the good, the true, and the beautiful because they want to be it and they can't control it. Omegas aren't necessarily evil. Like the Joker from Batman is an Omega. So it's like some of them just want to see the world burn. They don't want to be me. They just don't care. They don't respect male hierarchy at all. And so you have to understand. They don't have to understand. That's the thing. It's like Omegas, which are outside the social sexual hierarchy. The website humanizes BB in such a great way. Perfect counter of the gay media. Well, it's just a fact. I'm saying the true facts, and they're lying because they want to rape kids. Fact. Showing kids sex when they're young is a form of rape. That's pedophilia. Sexualizing children is molestation. So, okay. So anyway, the Omegas, I'm going to just explain something to the Omegas just so I don't have to ban some of the ones I like. Because a few of the ones, I even recognize their names that were commenting, and they're like, hey man, Alex Jones has done some good stuff in 2012. Okay. I'm a comedian. I'm not going to be condescending. I'm a comedian, okay? If I'm doing a joke, like the Heightgate joke about how I'm revealing the height of all these men, if you don't like or understand the joke, just be quiet. Go somewhere else. A lot of men, alphas, bravos, deltas, totally understand this. They understand the hierarchy, where it's like, if you're at someone else's home, if you're at someone else's page, don't write something like that unless you don't care if you're banned. And I know some of these Omegas don't understand this. So that's why I'm explaining it. If you go to the most censored comedian in the world, which is me, I've been kicked off Airbnb for my views, not my behavior. I had 5 stars at Airbnb. 5. I was a super host. The property I was renting out on Airbnb was so highly rated that I was called a super host. It was my wife's account. They deleted it, costing thousands and thousands of dollars. But this is the way God works. This is why I always trust God. So we sold that house because we lost $60,000 on that. But with that money that we had from selling that house at the perfect time, we're now building a house on our property. And now Amy doesn't have that stress of dealing with like broken pipes in the middle of winter and someone took a shit in the bed. You know, it was a nightmare. But so they actually set us free, and they're always setting us free. If you're small, you have to be mocked. It's not even about that. It's just funny. If people were mocking my height and saying the truth about Owen Benjamin as he's an ogre or a Nephilim or something, I would be the first to laugh. Okay? Heightgate is undeniably funny. And I was listening to a Red Bar, and he faces the same thing. Like, he did a joke recently where he was like, people who reject seafood are idiots. And then he goes, except salmon, cod, halibut, lobster, clams. And he proceeded to list all the seafood he could think of. And this one guy was like, I guess all you ball-licking fans won't call you out for being a hypocrite. And he was like, you don't understand the joke. Okay, I get that all the time. So Heightgate is really funny. And if you don't understand it, that doesn't mean you get to just like say crazy shit. And then what happens is they get banned. And then they freak out and try and send the cops to my house. Sound familiar? Okay. Red Bar's joke is very obviously funny. It's like people who reject, I say if you take a shower, you're gay. Okay, that's funny to 99% of the population. 1%, no, it's actually probably more. I'd say 80% find that funny. 10% don't care. They just don't understand it. And 10% are like, oh, how dare you? I take a shower and I'm not gay. You're the gay one. Rah! Dude, I had people being like, I've met Alex Jones and he's 5'9". Alex Jones is 5'5". And also, who gives a fuck? Rogan has severe scoliosis from being pumped. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Alex Jones and me have a history. I get to mock him because this was the clip that sent me over the edge. And I said, you know what? Fuck you, Alex Jones. Look at how he overreacted to me.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that?
Yeah, but it's over. It's over, dude. The frogs are dead.
This crap.
The frogs are dead. Okay, so that sent Alex into a tailspin because he's worried about the frogs being gay. I informed him they're all dead. Let's watch that again. And ever since, he freaked out on me, called me an anti-Semite, all this stuff.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that?
Yeah, but it's over. It's over, dude. The frogs are dead.
This crap.
The frogs are dead. Okay, so then he went on a tirade against me. He's really short, guys. Really. Kyneton, you were there with me at his studio in Austin. Kyneton is 5'8", which is very respectable height for a man. That's why all these men say they're 5'7", 5'8", but they're not. Kyneton, how tall is Alex Jones? Be honest. If you had a gun to your head, how tall is Alex Jones? And he's round. He's a meatball. He's a talking meatball. And by the way, he made truthers and conspiracy theorists look ridiculous. I'm a comedian. So when I go on rants, it's like, oh, it's kind of like George Carlin or Louis Black or all my favorite comedians, because that's what comedians do, you fucking moron. When Alex Jones is trying to be taken seriously as a media personality, he's like, COVID-19 is weaponized AIDS. The Chi-Coms are pumping it into your mouth. You gotta, oh my God, Clinton is in the sewers. Okay, that just makes all of us look insane. You could put me in that category all you want, but hey, dummy, I'm a comedian. If you don't understand the joke, that's not my fault. So short women are okay? Yeah, short men are okay. All right? If you don't understand the joke, just fucking leave. There's low IQ humor everywhere, guys. Just go to YouTube and type in fat girl fall down stare. You will laugh your ass off. It's like these fat women think they can walk up a stair and then they can't, and then you see them fall down. It's great. If you happen to have more of a brain processing speed, if your mind and intellect can work on multiple levels, come here. And I'm wonderful for people that aren't retarded, okay? Oh, is it okay if a girl's short? Shut up. You don't understand the jokes. 5'4" and been here for 3 years. Thank you, BB. Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's like, so just go. Okay, I'm dead serious. I'm going to make your life so much better. You come here for the comedy, you're like, man, I love Owen Benjamin, man. He's funny, but I don't understand. Half the shit I don't understand, and then I get mad. And then I'm like, well, is it okay if I'm 5'6"? Okay, just X me out. Just bail on my whole operation. And type into YouTube, fat girl fall down stare. Make sure it's like that because it's mostly Chinese people that are uploading these videos. And you're going to have the best day of your life. Because Alex Jones and me have not been getting along for a while. Let's watch that one more time. And I got more for you guys.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that?
Yeah, but it's over. It's over, dude. The frogs are dead. The frogs are dead. Okay, now let's watch something awesome. Oh, and dude, I'm starting to understand. Let me just say this first, and then I'll continue. And I'm not looking for any dogmatic debate. It's just, I had a very interesting realization. I wanted to share it. And no matter what anyone says in the chat, I won't respond. Okay, I was listening to Pockets of the Future talk about remerging with Source, which is the goal of his life, which is getting back to God. And then I was talking to my Muslim friend 2 days ago. He was talking about how Jesus and Muhammad were both doing the pure will of God. And so I was thinking about, why do people think Jesus is God? Because it really does bother me. It did bother me for a while, seeing how many Christians were so mad at me for not going against the first commandment, that there's only one God. And then all the things about, this is going to a good place, trust me. I'm not angry at all. Because everyone's getting it, it's fine. who did Jesus pray to? I come to do my Father's bidding, all this stuff. Okay, so there's tons of an argument about Jesus not being God. So I have a philosophical argument for why people say Jesus is God. But I've never heard a Trinitarian give this argument because it's very philosophical. And if you're not crazy, I'd love to hear a little feedback. But ask yourself, am I fucking crazy? When I talk to people, just walk away. Jesus is not God. Right? Hear me out, Snazzy Bear. Hear me out. God is God. Jesus is our brother. Right? No, but I haven't even made my point yet, Snazzy Bear. Okay, so let's say you start to do the pure will of God. And I think that's kind of like what Jesus was trying to explain to people was this is the life of the pure will of God, and we can all do it. I think one of the things, I can't hear you, LOL. Snazzy Bear, what are you talking about? Is the live stream still going? I have no problem being seen as crazy. My worry is, am I right? Shut up. All right. I'd read your lips. Just let me ladle here. You can't hear Snazzy Bear. Are you deaf? Literally? Live stream is fine. Sound is good. Okay, still live. So this is the theoretical argument for Jesus being God or anybody being what Paul would call merging with source. Now, at no point do I think Jesus is God because I think you can't be your own creator. That being said, the philosophical thing that I'm going to ladle out here is if somehow you get to a spiritual level where you are doing the pure will of God, is there then a separation between you and God? Now, I'm not saying you're not your own creator. This gets very intense. But let's say you become one of these higher developed spiritual beings that have focused the narrow path to a degree that's right? And so if you then become the living embodiment of the will of God through your free will, that's important. You aren't God. I'm gonna do a couple more minutes of this and then I'm pulling the chute. Pure vessel, right? So when you get to that state where there is no separation between you and God's will, is there an argument that you are a form of God because you no longer exist as a separate entity to God? But then you have the free will to choose to reconnect with your counter will. Because I think this is why I keep saying God has, where it's God's plan. Trust the plan is God's plan. But it's God's will is absolute. So it's like an avatar. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I still don't. All right. But let's say you, through the constant pruning of your fallen material state, you get to a point when you and God's will are operating like a symphony, and at that point, would an outside observer say that's God operating through your meat suit? But again, it's not, Jesus isn't God because Jesus had to disappear in a sense to become, you see what I'm saying? So I still find Jesus is God to be philosophically absurd. I'm not going to say absurd. I'm not going to say incendiary rhetoric. Okay, like me as I don't know. I can't really explain it. I haven't operating harmoniously. I'm so confused, says Snazzy Bear. Well, you're deaf, so maybe you should just be quiet. Yeah, back to source, right? So if I am, I think therefore I am. I actually think is inverted. I am therefore I think. It's not I think therefore I am. It's I am therefore I think. Oh, how dare you think you can go against the deep philosophers? Yes, I do. I think it's inverted. So I think, therefore I am. No. I am, therefore I think. And that thinking is what separates us from God in a sense. That we have our heart that's connected to God. The callus around our heart, we grow with sin. We grow with rejection of God, right? So I am, therefore I think. If you stop being am, Like if your ego, do hand signs. Okay. Hang on, let me talk to Snazzy Bear. I don't have Danny, I'm so offended. Yeah, if you get offended easily, this isn't the place for you, and I love it. Snazzy Bear's laughing, everyone's having a great time. Okay, frequencies and vibrations, just like speaking. Right. So let's say some of these sections where Jesus says, like, didn't you know me? You've been with me the whole time. Like, you've been with the will of God. Now, I think it gets, read the prayer at the end of John. His prayer for us reflects what you're saying as his hope. We'd be like him. Right. So God's will is subtle and perfect, right? And so it's like you feel it. That's why I love listening to Paul from Pockets, because he talks about this transmission to his heart. And so it's like, so God has this subtle, loving, perfect will that will be done on earth as it is in heaven, right? So it's like, and that's through your heart. BB, when you talk theology, is very riveting for all of us who care about it. Yeah, I like this too. I'm going to not. All right. I've been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life, I don't know. I'm staying on my path right now. Hang on. God's will is good, beautiful, and true. Be more. Right. So theoretically, if you are operating as God's will, purely, without any whispers, like there isn't any deviation, are you, in a sense, God? Now, that sounds blasphemous because it's like, to me, it's only theoretical. It's almost like trying to go to a wall and saying you can only go halfway each time. You'll never get to the wall no matter how insanely close you get, right? This is something we talked about in physics way back in the day where it's like, all right, you have to go to the wall, but each time you can only go halfway to the wall. If it's 6 feet away the first time, it's 3 feet, then 1.5 feet. Then 0.75 feet. You understand? Theoretically, you could make an infinite amount of moves and never actually touch the wall. I feel like that's how we are with God. Like there's always going to be, my kids are laughing at it. They said it sounds like me when I'm mad. Hilarious. My name's Snazzy Bear. Oh, how dare you? I'm offended for Snazzy Bear. That's like how these comedy clubs think that blacks can't hear words. It's like deaf people aren't just stupid, bad, dumb people. Like they laugh just like us. And when you make fun of their handicap, I'm sure it probably feels really good for them. But a lot of these arrogant psychopaths, I literally think they're psychopathic. So it's like you cannot do any deaf jokes. They'll die. All right. It's what the Buddhisms call full awake. 100% wisdom equals Jesus. 100% knowledge equals man fallen state. No, but Jesus was trying to tell us, like, if we reject all of our fallen material meat suit like tendencies, squirting, I'm going to do a snort, I'm going to bang a butt, I'm going to need money, right? Like, so all this shit that exists in the 666 realm, why is it called 666? I believe that the carbon, which is what this is, right? Is carbon, 6 protons, neutrons, electrons. 666 is the atomic structure of carbon. I actually fall more towards Walter Russell with the wave stuff. I don't think it's a particle per se. I think it's a vibration. That being said, this is carbon, right? So in this meat suit that has these like tendencies, it's like the more you can reject that, like Jesus said, if you look at a woman's ass in lust as she walks by, you should stab out your eye. Okay, that seems really extreme. And, that's, which one of us would have eyes at this point, right? But what he's saying is, like, you have to get completely out of your fallen state to merge with God. Then, when you are a vessel acting out the will of God without any of your own thinking or ego or anything, if someone was to observe that, would they say that is God? Now, you can't be your own creator. What came first, the chicken or the egg? You understand? It's like God came first. So it's like God, I think it's almost like a vibratory tone. Like you're trying to find a note on a frequency. He said, better to go to heaven missing an eye than get thrown out with both eyes. I love that. Jesus crushes. All right. So it's like if you're trying to find the frequency, and so the closer you get to the frequency, it's like the radio now becomes that song, but is it the song? No, but it's like the frequency. So this is my argument for the Trinity. And I'm doing a better job arguing for the Trinity than any Trinitarian I've ever heard. Because that's why I've been so frustrated, because I'm like, how can you blaspheme God like that and say Jesus is God? Like, that's crazy. And it contradicts so much of the Bible. Like, how do you pray to yourself? Blah, blah. All right. So then as I was going to sleep last night, I had this realization where I'm like, if you are, and this came from talking to several different people who have different cosmologies than me. Very helpful. That's why I don't just be like, all my friends have to be Christian or the same Presbyterian church. Because the way they're looking at it, where it's like, when you're just purely doing God's will, and I've never experienced that. You know, I think it's probably going to get easier for people to do that as time goes on. I think consciousness is rising. I think the zombie meat suits are getting flushed. And I think a lot of people are starting to really connect to their heart and not their mind. Because your mind is way easy to trick. I think, therefore I am. No, I am, therefore I think. And they're true. I think to truly get back to God, you can't exist, which makes you exist on a level that you can't imagine, where it's like, I am should only be said theoretically. This is all theoretically. I'm Owen, I'm Big Bear. I get it. I think the Trinity is like corporations, principal, agent, investor. I don't think that Jesus was talking to himself. I think that he was attaining higher and higher levels in his life. I understand that argument where, like, when I'm around my kids, I'm like, Dad needs some coffee. You know, I'm also Owen and Big Bear. So there's a Trinity there, right? I understand all that. And that never clicked with me, where it's like, oh, Dad, because I'll speak about myself in the third person around my kids to show a different sovereign entity, where I'm like, Dad wants some coffee. Big Bear's about to do a stream, and I would like to spend some time with Mom. Okay, I get that. That isn't what I think was happening. It's not like he was praying to God the Father in heaven, right? So again, I understand that. It never clicked. But what clicks with me is the more pure will you're doing of God, the more you're merging with God. And you don't become your own creator. Like, you aren't God. But you're aligning your frequency with God to the point where an outside observer of a vessel engaged in the pure will of God would almost appear to be God. That's it. That was what I wanted to talk about. And all right, so you want to hear some truth out of the mouths of babes? Check out Walter. And I get a lot of great philosophy from my children. Watch this. It's amazing.
If we say good words to people, they'll love us because we get likes to them.
Exactly. So helping people makes people love you, and tricking people makes people hate you.
And if we work as a team, we'll work after them.
Exactly. What do you like best about people?
Because they're my friend and they keep me company.
Yeah.
And they also give me food.
That's right. And if you give them food, are they happy?
Yes, they're very happy.
Yes. Okay, so, because I was also thinking, I do a lot of thinking. I am. And feeling. I was thinking about, why do people abuse children? Because when you're a father and you see these beautiful children, you're like, how? How can you want to say you're a girl or teach them about intercourse and anal and masturbation when they're... That's my son's age, 5. Right now, in public school, they teach them masturbation. That to me makes me so angry that I've had to figure out how to get through it and build, and that's why I've been so fruitful. Because it's like, why? And I think I figured it out, and it's given me a lot of peace to understand this. Children are in the vibration of God. Like, God is... Like, that's why when a child dies, I believe they go right to heaven. Because I don't think there's blockage in the frequency. So the innocence just head on right back to God. I think that they're so close to God that they see the world in this pure, beautiful way. And so if you're evil, what do you want to do? You want to destroy that. They do it to desecrate God. Exactly. Like, your children, like, the innocence of children is a resonance of God. And so when you read Jesus, you're like, he had that. He had that feeling about him. The way he would simply talk and use parables, and his courage and his selflessness, and just the way he was the living vibratory embodiment of God. So if you're evil, because you have to think, like, if you're evil, what would you do? You would take that and you would sexualize it. And you would say, put him in a dress and give him hormone shots, all that stuff. So it's like, because that frequency is really, really painful to wicked. Like, the more sin and degeneracy you build up in your meat suit, and the more like your heart has been calloused, and you're engaged in wickedness all the time. Like, to be around a child is incredibly painful. I love that's why, like, wicked people hate dogs and children. You know, like, a lot of Israelis, not all, but a lot of Israelis I know hate dogs, and they hate children. You know, they can't be around dogs or children. I've noticed that. And it's like, why? It's like, it's just a little dog. And it's like, oh, it's going to bite me. Right? You've been around these people. I'm not making claims. There's some Israelis that are not like that. But from my experience with a few Israelis, 100% of them hate dogs and kids. They don't like to be around them. It freaks them out. Because when you're around it, like dogs have an innocence about them too. Even when they're like pissing in the middle of the floor, you're like, George, because they're in that, like, people with Down syndrome have the same innocence. And that's why they want to kill people with Down syndrome or put them away in a little room. Because Down syndrome people are very angelic. That's why I created the character Corky Pope, Corky President, Corky, all this stuff. Corky, because if you see the world like a child, you say, but if a nation is its people, how can you get a national status with a piece of paper? Right? Because it's so obvious to a child. So if you're evil, and the evil has grown in this world to a degree where, like, they can't be around any children. I think they hate the innocence, the laughter, the spark, because they lost. Exactly. Because they still have it way in there. But, like, the parasite, the callus, it's like really, like, the parasite now wants to survive at all costs. And the innocence of the child, Jesus had the same thing, where it was like the vibratory innocence and love of Jesus drove them insane, because they're like, like Snazzy Bear can't hear. So I don't know if she's just evil. I don't understand. Snazzy Bear just said she doesn't understand. It's because you can't hear, Snazzy Bear. Why don't you just tap out this time? Why don't you just tap out? This isn't for you. I think there's a frequency resonance. I've never met a deaf Israeli. I think it's culture that make normal. Now, Snazzy Bear, you have no idea what you're talking about. Imagine how much they envy the men and women that partner with God in creating children. They understand the... Right. And so then they have to destroy the spark, because every child is a new beginning. BB, speak slower so she can read your lips. So, why don't you just get those fucking subtitles? Can't we see this, Coddington Bear? All right. Don't feel bad for Snazzy Bear. She can talk through glass. Like I used to do a bit about that. Like, me and my brother were at a dinner at a restaurant, and two deaf people were having dinner, and one went out to have a cigarette and was like through like thick glass, like kind of far away, and they just continued their conversation. And my brother goes, I wish I was fucking deaf. And I'm like, why? He's like, because they can talk through glass. Must be nice. Like, as much as I love my brother, the Must Be Nice character, there's like a little bit of inspired, but my brother does it in a really funny way. But he envies everybody to a point that's hysterical. He doesn't envy like super rich. It's not like the demonic envy, but he'll be like, he literally said must be nice about a friend who was going to prison for 2 years because he said that they didn't have any bills and could work out all day. Swear to God, my brother's like, must be nice. And he's not joking. All right, anyway, what else do I got for you guys today? So that was a little theology talk because in my opinion, and I think it's pretty obvious that you can't be your own creator. That's why when anybody says this is God or that's God, I'm like, no. That being said, if you're operating through the pure will, and that's from free will. You know, Jesus is the Son of Man, the Son of Mary, human being, meat suit. That's why I think that he was so good at teaching, because he was like, this is how you get through that. And how a man can remerge with the will of God. And then again, that's why it's like, because I was getting a little frustrated where I'm like, how are so many Christians this crazy? And then I started, because no offense, Trinitarians, but your explanations are insane. A lot of them. Where it's like, oh, it's like water, gas, liquid, ice at the same time. He's all but one. No, that doesn't make any sense. So when Jesus was just 15, he was always God. When he was like praying, and what the fuck are you talking about? No, the whole path of Jesus is like, how do you remerge with God? And then once you're remerged, like once you're operating as a symphony, you know, it's like the great conductor. And then you have your oboe, your violin, you all that. And when it's together in the symphony, is there any separation at that point? And that's when things get interesting. And that's why when people say, a lot of it is semantic. It's just like Jesus is God versus Jesus is operating as God. Doesn't the traditional Trinity dogma kind of mess up the family structure? It makes more sense. Yeah, the ghost thing is, I think, crazy. But I'm talking about, because that isn't what freaks people out. No one cares about the ghost. You know, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Oh, Holy Ghost is God? What? Yeah, they remove the woman. Of course, there's a corporate structure to it, where it's like a father, a son, and a ghost. That's your creation. Where's the woman? You know, it's nonsense. But, oh, how dare you not that? No, but the thing that seemed to really drive people crazy was me saying Jesus isn't God. So I really, really thought about it, because really good people were having a hard time with me saying that. And I'm like, I couldn't believe they didn't see my point. So I think a little middle ground we can have here is, if you're operating in pure logos and you remerge with God's will by choice, and at any point you can fall. You know, you always have free will. Jesus wasn't God. He was created by God. I know he was there in the beginning. It's all philosophical. I get it. But when you remerge with God, that's why Jesus could say stuff like, have you not been with me this whole time? Where it's like channeling the one, like the only, there's a lot of channeling of demons, right? People channel and it's always demonic. There is a way of like being a vessel for God's pure will. Could it be that woman is the flesh world we're in her? Wow, that's very interesting, Loki Bear. I like that. And that's why the woman is associated with Satan more. And that's not even like a negative to women. It's like women are almost like the bridge between frequencies. We're like the Stargate in the womb, you know, where you can bring another soul into this realm. It's very philosophical. And by the way, when I'm saying that, I'm not saying women are evil at all. I'm saying like, yeah, the woman is almost like the bridge between the holy and the fallen, where they actually can bring life into this world. A guy could catch up on his reading in prison for sure. Must be nice, right? Could it be the Holy Ghost, the vessel? I don't know. It just sounds like a ghost. You know, just a little ghost in the room. All right, what else do I got for you guys? Oh, here's some Eric Clapton. I don't think it sounds like he's feeling very wonderful tonight.
The vaccine took my immune system and just shook it around again. Agony and chronic pain. I went and had the second and then it got really bad. And within about a week, I had lost, my hands didn't really work. It's there until I go to bed and I take sleeping pills because I can't sleep because of the pain.
She's wondering what clothes to wear. Oh shit, it's over. And puts on her makeup and brushes her long brown hair. And then I tell her that I took the vaccine. And I say, yes, I'm pretty sure I need a new spleen. I think it's time to die now, 'cause I've got aching hands. So I give her the car keys. She compliments my baby boomer tan. And then I tell her I can't feel my own face. And I say, yes, I don't feel very wonderful tonight. Oh, here's some super chats. Sweet. EntropyStream.live/app/Owen Benjamin Comedy. All right. Thank you for all you do. Anytime, Jamie. Choppy Bear says, paramilitary soul singer hovering above the grid, crowned the Bearskins as the Lavender Mountains crown the horizon. That's very intense, but I like it. The discos of Earth have long been empty, and the future is resonant with song. I like how you speak. Blue Bunny Bear says, Dear Big Bear, my husband has taken our eldest daughter to the ER, and we need all the prayers for her we can get. It may be appendix, hoping it is her becoming a little woman. Thank you, and the Bears. Of course. PA Snowboarder Bear says, Dear Big Bear, thank you so much for your advice on not wanting to have children. Our 2-month-old son, Luke, is crushing. Shout out to all the PA legends. Keep crushing. Wow, I'm so happy for you. Keep having more. Nathaniel says, oh, and 1162 is legendary. Whoa, a legendary stream, because they all are. That one gave me goosebumps. Thank you. Men need a secondary guide apart from blood to truly dial in. All men need one. Many don't get one. Thanks again. Anytime. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I'm a rabbi. Rabbi just means teacher, by the way. I'm literally kind of a rabbi. I'm like a comedic rabbi. Oh, hey, everybody. I'm a comedic rabbi. James says, a tip for the piano man and his duet with Ira on Patience. Do you have any True Hollywood stories on Axel? Keep crushing, Big Sky Bear. I don't, but thank you for the tip. Him Bear says, I think that may have been the origin and purpose of tongues, but of course to tread the waters carefully if you're opening doors to the spirit realm. Himbear says, haha, BB, these tongue impressions are hilarious. Have you ever had any experience with psilocybin mushrooms? Yes, in high school, I did them twice. Once in high school, twice in college. Yeah, I have no interest to ever do that again, but I had very interesting, and I was like painting in the sky and stuff. Some people have like really bad trips. I was like, colors can come from this tulip. All right. A lot of people have talked about experiencing an overwhelming influence from the spirit realm to speak without even knowing about tongues for it. I don't know. I think drugs are mostly for gays. Blue Bunny Bear says, I should rephrase, building a new foundation does not suck. It's just hard. Definitely. Quality renditions, crying, laughing. Thank you, Eddie. And OBB says, much love for the daily gravy and hearty laughs thou bring forth every day onward. Anytime. Thank you. And if anybody wants to tip us, me and Kyneton, it's entropystream.live/app/Owen Benjamin Comedy. I know it's a lot easier just to hit super chat on YouTube and have your Apple Pay do it, but convenience is the price of sodomy. And so I'm not allowed on there. So you just have to try a little harder to support what you like. And I know it's a pain in the ass. I get it. I also like convenience. But every bit helps. And if you would have super chatted me on YouTube or PayPal, which I'm not welcome on anymore because I'm not down with child sex role play, and you want to help the stream, entropystream.live/app/Owen Benjamin Comedy. Thank you very much. All right, let's continue. We're building really cool stuff with everything people give. Oh, this is, and by the way, this is coming soon to a city near you. Check this out.
Call 911. Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, it's not a political issue. Oh, it's because of those damn Democrats. It's because of the Republicans. Those are just Judas goats. You know, I was talking to a friend. I'm never going to run for office. And because I was thinking about that. Recently, the media thing was just pissing me off. And I was like, we should get more rep. We should be rep better in the local area, you know? Fuck it. And I'm like, you know, I had more people go to my last show in Sandpoint than voted last year. Like, obviously, should I just become a mayor or something? And then I'm like, no, I can't be a comedian and a politician simultaneously. See, that's why I'm not hiding behind being a comedian. I'm actually a comedian. If I was a politician and I was meeting with like old conservatives, you know, about like zoning for their like dairy mill, their dairy field, and they're like, what's this about a bike? I'd be like, yeah. You know, you can't do both. I mean, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of the only people I've ever seen do that, and I think he's ridiculous. Where it's like, hey, Arnold, what were you saying about banging 15 women at the same time while you were lifting weights and drinking wine out of their assholes? He's like, okay, so I'm not, and by the way, no one that isn't like crazy really wants to be in politics. Okay. So then what's the next thing you do? It's all logic, and don't freak out and think I'm up to something, because I'm not. But I'm like, yeah, maybe I should just have someone else run. And that's obviously what the whole world is. So it's like, I'm like, oh, well, we can just run one of these guys, one of our buddies, just do a fundraiser, and then, you know, we'll just tell them what's going on, and that's it. And dude, they did that with Biden. They're like, let's just run that old fucking pedophile guy. He'll do what we say. That literally is it. So when people say like, oh, the damn Democrats, oh, it's Biden's America. No, it isn't. Dude, when you're like assessing who you want to run for your will, you just think like, okay, he's a dude who doesn't seem to give a fuck about anything, who's smart and cool and can like handle himself, but like doesn't have any of his own real like hardcore ambitions. And, you know, I mean, it's like so obvious how politics work. You're just like, just run that. And then the way the wicked work, I wouldn't want to like put my will on someone, but if you did, let's say I was like, okay, I want to run someone that I'm going to force to do stuff. Who would you pick? You'd pick a guy you had blackmail on. I mean, just think about it, guys. BB can be the sheriff. No. It would be a disaster. I love our sheriff too. I just always would support him. Next election, I'm going to like really help him campaign. But no, dude, you can't, like all these videos that try to make me look bad actually would make me look bad if I was a politician. And they should. Like if you're a politician and you have videos of like, the Jew, you know, I'm doing the Grabber mask and all this. That's why it doesn't work. Like as a comedian, it's great. My job is to take uncomfortable truths about reality, blow them up, do funny hyperboles, you know, say shocking shit, offend people, work through the knots, give them laughter, resonance. It's great. But like if I was actually like meeting with, you know, a prison or something, and I'm like a commissioner, and they're like, so are you a little biased? I'm like, no, what do you mean biased? I fucking, you know, they're like, do you mind taking a look at this video we found? And I'd be like, I'm just joking. It's like, well, now you're not a comedian though. Is it still a joke? I'd be like, yeah, this has gone horribly bad. So let's say you want to feel like you're in a community where people aren't crazy. So you're like, okay, well, I have very strong political power in this area because so many people like me, but I'm not going to run for president. So, and I have political interests. So what would you do? You just get a guy and be like, that's our guy. Hey, Pete Buttigieg. Why? Because, okay, you want, let's say you're evil. I do not have these intentions, so don't go crazy here. Let's say you're like, okay, I want to be a politician, but I don't want to do that. But I want the power to be able to re-subdivide the world and bring in public housing. And you know you're going to get a ton of backlash. Like, let's say you're like, I want to teach 5-year-olds to like butt fuck. That's what they're doing, right? So what do? You got to get a guy to take all the heat. And nobody wants to do that. Like nobody wants to be Joe Biden right now. Like nobody. Right? COD for president. Now you're seeing it. So it's like nobody wants to be that guy who like everybody knows the economy's coming down, and whoever's going to be president this time was going to be blamed for it. And so you got Joe Biden. Joe's probably like, come on, man, I just want to sniff the little kids. And they're like, Joe, if you don't run for president, we're going to show the videos. And then as he's going, he's like, come on. This is my theory about Trunk. I think they did the same thing with Trunk. They're like, we need an outsider. You know, this is my opinion because I've thought this stuff through. I think Trunk halfway through actually wanted to do good shit and they fucking just hammered him because it's not his role. The president can't do anything. You know, all these roles, a sheriff of a county is more powerful than the president. So the president is supposed to serve an agenda of his handlers. Let's say, like in a small microcosm, you have a exiled comedian, but like people like and all this, and I can get people elected. Okay, so I'm just, again, I'm probably never even going to be a part of politics in any way because it's so annoying, but like this is how it would all work. So let's say you're like, okay, we got to get little kids to try and butt fuck each other in school, and nobody wants to do that. They're like, I'm not going to be the president who brings in critical race theory. It's like, but sir, we have to break the spirit of the nation to bring in the immigrants. It's like, dude, people are going to get so mad. It's like, okay, well, let's find a guy. And so you can't find a guy with any like integrity. No offense, Cod, if you ever are my guy to run. But it's a guy who's just kind of gets shit done. But if you want to do wicked stuff, like if it's something good, like let's say you want to kick out the gay bars, then you can get a guy to take the heat because he's passionate about it. It's like, oh, but I want a butt fuck. It's like, no more gay bars. It's like, you know. But if you're trying to bring in something that's obviously evil that everyone's going to hate, you're going to need a guy that's really compromised. Where you're like, you know, you're going to have to do this thing. And they're like, but I don't want to. It's like, well, you don't really have a choice. That's why they get a lot of these, you know, when that guy shot that dude in Wisconsin, Kyle Rittenhouse, and it was like a pedophile. And then they found out that like 3 of the Antifa guys were like convicted pedophiles. How do you think they get people to go, you know, burn down a McDonald's? It's not human nature to do that. It's not human nature to just get large mobs of people and organize them to like take down geographic areas you're trying to buy for pennies on the dollar. So you need to recruit people that will do whatever you say because you have dirt on. Let's say you're a convicted pedophile. You're like, your options are literally like, you can either burn shit down for George Soros, who literally is in the same position. If you know their name, they're one of these guys. So it's like, George Soros, I guarantee, is it this? He's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And someone's like, Georgie, like, we got the files. So I think Trump, like halfway through, like really started believing his crowds. Like there's something so energetic and so intoxicating about crowds. Trust me, I've had big crowds where people are chanting like, make America great again. And Trump knows his role is just to, you know, cuck the right wing, bring in mass vaccines, all this shit. And this is my opinion. I can't prove this. Like halfway through, he was like, you know what? We're going to make America great again. And his handlers were like, what the fuck are you doing, Trunk? He's like, we can do it. And they're like, look at the dead clock, Trunk. No one's doing it. Your job is just to bring in this thing so that the patriotic Americans all don't react when we fucking take all their businesses. And he's like, no, Pelosi. And everybody's like, oh, fuck. Okay, because I see how their tactics work. So the first round is shame. You know, that's how they control you. Is they're like, think about how much shit they have on Joe Biden. I'm pretty sure he murdered his family. All right. But in public, he's molesting kids on C-SPAN. He literally just said, like his son, it's just crazy. And the media always covers for him, not because they like him, because he's doing the bidding. So let's say, dude, this is not my plan. I've worked through this so I understand it now. So let's say I want to do some shit politically and I get a guy and I'm like, all right, you do this for me. And then they start going off book and you're like, dude. And they're like, you know what? I'm my own man now. It's like, okay, now start hammering him. It's like, grab him by the pussy, you know, all this stuff. It's like, you ready yet, Trunk? And he's like, I don't give a fuck. Grab the pussy. And everyone's like, shame isn't working. So they like hammer. They go after his family, mockery, get Hollywood against them, get all the spellcraft they can do. And I don't even think he was doing anything good per se, but he just was getting so fired up by his own crowds, I think. This is my opinion. I cannot prove this. The fact Biden is doing the bidding of his handlers, like whoever's behind the scenes that doesn't want to run. Nobody just runs for president. They're selected, not elected. That's all true. Like they probably picked Trump like he was fucking Derek Zoolander, where they're like, look at this idiot. He's good on camera. People like him. We can get the right wing to get behind him. He'll do it. He's like, I can crush everybody. Look at me. And so they get him in. And I think Trump had so much genuine energy behind him that he was like, fuck you, Adelson. I'm just going to crush. And they're like, they're forced to run. I think they're forced to run too. And so then they start opening up the Pandora's box of shame and blackmail. I know this is how it works on many levels. Because look at what they tried to do with me, where they're like, we're going to shame them and blackmail them. I don't have any blackmail. Everything, that's why the truth will set you free, because the way Satan works is whatever you're lying about, they can use against you. So let's say I secretly had a drug addiction, or secretly was cheating on Amy, or secretly used to be like a crazy homo or something. And there, at any point that can be used against me, unless it's not true. If it's not true, it doesn't work. You can see by my career, it doesn't work. It's like for a little while, people will be like, I don't want to go near him. It's more like, I don't want to go near him because everyone hates him versus that it's true. Nobody looks at me and thinks like, that I'm transgender or I'm gay or, it's all crazy. So anyway, so they released all this shit on Trump. And bear in mind, I don't consider Trump a hero at all. I think he got drunk on the adulation. He's like, we can fucking make America great. And they're like, bro, it's not. Look at the numbers. We're doing a controlled demolition. We're $30 trillion in debt, Trump. It's not happening. Like the birth rate amongst Caucasian Americans is 1.4. Like, we're going to need the Guatemalans, Trump. It's like, no way. America's going to go back to the 1950s. I can feel it from my last rally. Everyone was crushing. It's like, dude, replacement is 1.4 per couple, Trump. In 2 generations, the population's gone. No, who's going to sweep the streets, Trump? Who's going to bust the tables? Are you? We have the richest people in the world who are not having children. We're going to need to get some Somalians in here, Trump. The Patriots are going to say no to that. Well, okay, release the hounds to hell. And so then it's like shame. And then I think it got to the point where it was like, kill the economy. We got to get this guy out, about to building 7 the country. Yeah, exactly. It's like Joe Rogan's height being used against him. If he just owned it, it wouldn't matter. Exactly. If he just was like, yeah, I'm fucking short, man. I'm super short. I crush. But he can't. And that's why it's like, it's so, if Joe Rogan just owned it and he could even attack me and be like, Owen Benjamin's an overgrown ogre fucking Shrek. He's like, I'm a handsome man. He's like, if I was Joe Rogan, the way I'd handle it is I'd be like, because it's gotten out of control. He has to address it. People are writing it in the sky. He could be like, dude, I'm shiz. He could be like, Owen's got bitch tits, or something like that. Something like that. He could make it funny. And then I'd be like, well, they're muscular. Look at this. I can move him though. See that? See me bounce him? But yeah, I mean, a little flabby. So he could make fun of my flab. He could say I'm overgrown. He could be like, listen, I'm getting shot out of a cannon with $100 million. It'd be hilarious. Be like, yeah, Owen was breastfed by a horse. He could be like, turns out Owen's mom was half horse. He got breastfed by pure testosterone. Hilarious. And then his audience would be like, oh, this guy's not totally insane. I know they had that convo with Trump and spelled it out just like that. Yeah, and Trump's like, my Twitter is bigger than fucking CNN. And they're like, delete his Twitter. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm going to make my own blog. Rudy, get in here. You can't go at Rudy. Rudy did 9/11. He's untouchable. They're like, take out Rudy. And Giuliani's like, But Rudy has no weaknesses. Send in a girl that looks 15. I'll try and fuck her on camera. Rudy, how could you be so stupid? They're all retarded. Owen was made from the test tube. Yeah. He could say he has a hammer on him, though. Oh, totally. There's so many avenues. So, dude, because being short isn't even that bad. You know? But you can tell it drives him insane. All right. It's insane in retrospect how any of us thought Trump could change the trajectory of this thing. Dude, but I think he thought he could at a point. I think he was feeling the energy of the stadiums. Like, I don't think Trump is that smart. I know a lot of people think he's a genius. I think he has great rhetorical instincts. I think instinctually he's rhetorically like a master. Like, I think he can, like, you know, bob and weave like a legend. But I don't think he knows a lot of shit. Like, I don't think he understands that the United States, like, economic structure is, like, fucked. You know. And so, and same with demographics. Like, the whites the whites became panda bears in America. They're like, I just want to eat bamboo and watch pornography. I can't have a child. Why do you think I push children so much? It's the whole fucking reason that America went to shit. No one had kids. You know, in the 70s and 80s, they were like doing key parties and roller skating and banging each other's wives and then killing abortions and watching pornos. It's just like crazy. And so then now United States population replacement is 1.9, including immigrants. Just Caucasians, it's like 1.4, It's like fucking Japan. So every one of you guys that's having kids, you are the future. It's all about blood, guys. It's all about children. It's like life. Productive, non-molested, non-insane children. Because America got so perverted and so disgusting that, like, the kids didn't even want to have kids because they were, like, fucked with their whole lives. It's like, Dad, you showed me a porno. It's like, I'm wired weird now. You know? Like, when you have these, like, perverted, and you can't blame Pelosi. Pelosi is the biggest puppet I've ever, they're all puppets. And this coming from a guy who is thinking about how to get puppets. Like, trust me, this is how they think. They go, we can get that crazy bitch Pelosi to say anything, right? It's like, yeah, I mean, as long as you just keep giving her prune juice, she can't shit. She's a lizard. It's like, but she'll just say anything, right? It's like, yeah. That's why the crazier, like the more bad news we're supposed to be getting, the more the politicians look absurd. Because think of how few people would do that job. If someone asked me right now to be president of the United States, of course not. I wouldn't want to be county commissioner. I wouldn't want the heat. It would be like such a, just to continuously have to tell people like really bad news. Laughing out loud, lizard juice. Yeah, totally. I guarantee we all have friends funnier than most comedians nowadays. Oh, yeah. 100%. Think about how they have to do comedians because now they can't have me because they're like, well, if Owen does comedy, he's going to point out how stupid the transgender movement is. It's like, okay, who do we have? It's like this fat pig, Amy Schumer, she'll do anything for money. It's like, how do you know? It's like her uncle's Chuck Schumer. Oh, the guy we get to just say anything? Yeah. Okay, so she'll promote like abortion and shitting her pants and how disgusting vaginas are. Yeah. That'll keep the population real down. It's, guys, it's insane. Be like, well, we got Joe Rogan. He'll keep pushing homosexuality and Pelosi's freezer is filled with prime cuts of pandas. I think pandas are midgets. All right. So that's how it all works. Which one? Govern me harder, Daddy, because this is the average person. We don't have a government problem. We have a people problem. This is why I do what I do, guys. That person right there is the average American. And America is better than most of the world. Oh, how dare you? After the mask went on and the mask came off, America actually has more balls and more life in it than most of the world. I mean, look around. I mean, want to know who has a lot of life? A lot of the Muslim countries. Dude, Egypt wore 5% masks. 5%. They're like, we only fear Allah. Like crushers. America was way better than like you know, a lot of like New Zealand, Australia, England, Ireland, fucking Germany, you know, no life left in some of these places. I mean, the Bears are crushing, but it's like, you know, so these people are like, inject me. It's all sexual too. It's all from fucking porn and like perversion and molestation and sexualizing children. There's a reason I'm so passionate about this shit, guys. I'm not, oh, that means you're the gay one because you're always making fun of gay stuff. We have to break this shit. And it doesn't come from like, hang on, Poland is crushing logically. Yeah, there's some spots that are crushing. Like Switzerland is always going to be good. Parts of Italy. I mean, southern Italy is pretty fucked up. I mean, they're really perverted. Hang on, let me just say something here. Parts of the rural France is a lot better than people think. Rural Canada, like rural, not city though. Oh, we have more super chats. Nice. And I know that what I'm explaining right now will get me attacked by the media. They're going to say, oh, I'm Benjamin Tanning on his warlord taking over. No. I don't care. It's like, it's important for me to explain how politics works because I keep seeing people be like, thanks to the Democrats. I'm like, it's the people. It's like a horrible reality that people have to face, that their supply chains and their feeding troughs are fucking empty. And so regions have it different. Like right now, we're all the Democrat, they're just the most deranged puppets. Like when you got to roll out an agenda that's horrifying, you're going to want a pedophile. You're going to want a guy so broken, he'll literally stand at the G7 summit and be like, the most important thing is climate change. You have to be insane to look out your window. Like this right now is law and order in cities. Like right now, dude, I have friends in cities. LA is even worse than this. Watch this. Did I already play this? Hang on. You guys, you have to be,
Wow.
to think that the slow, imperceptible warming of the world is actually your problem, not the guys taking trash bags of shit out of stores in broad daylight. These stores now, by the way, are ordered to not respond. You can't call the police. No one goes to jail. That's not even a crime anymore in these cities. So the average person has to now be so brain dead to be like, oh, that's not the problem. The problem is what that little autistic chick from Sweden was saying, Greta Thunberg. How dare you drive a car? Well, what else am I going to drive? How dare you? Okay, so how do you get someone that insane? Like nobody with a functioning heart and mind at this point would say, you know, our real problem, it's not the falling, not the fact that LA is now a tent city. It looks like fucking Guatemala. How schools are teaching sodomy to kids. You know, it's like people's nutrition is so bad and they're injecting all this shit into their body. It's like, oh no. It's the imperceptible raising of temperature. And you know how we've been predicting this for 30 years? Nothing we predicted on the timeline came true. Not one thing. You know, Al Gore Rhythm had a movie out called An Inconvenient Truth that got an Academy Award that said by 2008, Manhattan would be underwater. Okay, it hasn't went up 1/2 of 1 inch. So you go, oh, that's just crazy. That obviously is because they're trying to take over the entire energy sector. Okay, got it. Okay, so how can anybody say that with a straight face? It's very easy. You get a broken dude and just wheel him out. He'll say anything. And the more broken the area, the more your politicians will reflect that. As below, so above. So Los Angeles is full of degenerate sin, horrifying sin. North Idaho is full of logos. So our area, our politicians are great. Like our sheriff immediately responded, like he was responding to Obama back in the day, like, we will never enforce any of your laws. Because his people are that. They don't have to give us the bad news here because a lot of us are self-sustaining. Like this morning I had pancakes with butter and strawberries, 100% from my farm, with the exception of the flour. But like the butter, the eggs, the buttermilk, the strawberries, everything from our land, you know, and then by the afternoon we'll have like, you know, some meat, some cheese, some kale, spinach, right? All our waters from our, you don't have to give us bad news. So that's why our politicians aren't crazy. You go to California, guys. I know that there's a lot of exceptions, but this is the average dude. They get sexual release from being dominated. They don't have any of their own opinions, and they're taking part in medical sadism. They would love to have a code right on their forehead so they didn't have to carry a wallet anymore. They'd see it as good. It's not tyranny. The only tyranny is over yourself. Manhattan has been sinning and fucking and squirting and stealing and envy and theft and horror for so long, guys. You're seeing the obvious result of that lifestyle. I'm in California. This is absolutely true. Yeah, dude, it's enforced by the people. So how would you select a governor? You'd say, we got to get a guy that'll just fucking say anything. Gavin Newsom. Like, he's selected. Because in a very, very small way, I understand the powers that be. I understand the Illuminati. I understand the next level of the chessboard. If you're a believer and into the metaphysics of this realm, you don't want to be in their world, but you can understand it. That you have many different groups that understand the metaphysics, that understand actual human control and power. And they're fighting against each other using tools that most people can't comprehend. Okay, so nobody in politics just chooses to do it. What's that lady's name? Cortez. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez auditioned on camera. You can see her audition to play the role of a congressman. And a lot of people know this. They're aware of this, and they still react like she's doing something. They're literally they're just reading scripts. And I think Trump got so drunk on those stadiums and Twitter that he was like, you know what? I'm going to tweet whatever the fuck I want, Pelosi. And it was like, okay, destroy this dude. And dude, that's when you also see that they don't kill. I mean, it doesn't seem very violent. It seems like it's all based on shame. It's all based on like trying to get other people to hate you. All right. I got more 1,000% politics. All of them are though. But you look at Joe Biden, I'm seeing a lot of resentment towards Biden from people that I know really well. Lumber prices, gas prices, the border crisis. Oh, it's Biden's America. It's not Biden's America, guys. Biden, just picture someone, like, because I understand, I have a lot of influence despite the shaming and all that. So it's like, think of someone like me, except 1,000 million times more powerful. They would just scan like a fucking bathhouse and be like, dude, that guy that like smelling people, he'll fucking do it. Right? Obviously. Like, obviously, guys. You take like the retards, I know that like, not the retards. You want competent, smart, good people. If you're evil, you take the retard. Someone like me, if I ever select you, Kyneton, I'm not calling you a retard. If anybody's ever selected to be the governor of Florida, Coddington Bear, it's not because you're a retard. It's because you get it. But if you're like a wicked guy, you're going to want to go to the most broken people. Because if somebody wants to roll out wicked, evil agendas, they're going to need someone that just will say and do anything. Biden shut down Keystone and is letting the scammers on Wall Street go hard. This is his America. Terry, are you like, I know that I think it's an intelligence issue. Biden doesn't make any decisions. So, do you not understand that? So you think Joe Biden was his own man, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to get in there and I'm going to shut down the Keystone Pipeline. No, if he didn't shut down the Keystone Pipeline, the media would explode of his pedophilia. And then he would, like a dog, shut down the Keystone. But he doesn't do anything on his own. You get it. Good, Terry. I get it. But like, people are directing their anger at, this is the reason it's important. Because people are directing their anger at Joe Biden. They're like, or like Black Rock, like a rock. They're like, oh, Joe Biden is doing this. No, your neighbors are. Your school board, your behavior, the fact you didn't have children. This is like the inevitable result of generations of sin, but I still hate him. That's fine. I don't hate him. I don't. I think he's just like a guy with dementia that I think it's really funny. I actually find his presidency more enjoyable than Trump because I think it's revealing even more. I didn't think that anyone could reveal more than Trump. Like, just to see how disingenuous everybody was with Trump, I was like, the great revealer is here. You know, look at the puppets dance. Watching the media pretend Joe Biden is speaking English when he's just like, yeah, I think Biden's hilarious. And I like Hunter Biden. Unless I see evidence that he's a pedophile, evidence. I don't see any yet. I see evidence that he's a crackhead and he loves to throw around my favorite word. Don't pretend for a second that you're offended by that word. Don't be gay, all right? Like, to watch Angelina's broken father, Angelina Jolie's fucked up dad, what's his name? That all the Republicans love because he's finally speaking the truth in Hollywood. That guy is a degenerate. You're telling me that guy, he like was just, I can't remember his name. It doesn't matter. I've met him before at a party. But like, you're telling me Angelina Jolie's dad, who's like a degenerated freak, John Voight, like a freak, like a butt-fucking, cum-obsessed money freak, you know, liar. He's going to act like saying the word nigger is like makes you a horrible person. Really? Like, you're going to pretend right in front of me. Like, you're going to pretend in front of all these people. And then to see all these, like, these brain-dead right-wingers, too, just being like, oh, it's unconscionable. It's unconscionable to call his Jewish lawyer a nigger. What fucking planet are you on? I think that's one of the most likable things I've ever seen a politician's family member ever do. I get it. That guy gets it. That guy's had his bike stolen. Don't you for once, hey, John Voight, don't for one fucking second now immediately adapt communist political correct agenda for speech and pretend that uttering a word makes you evil. Jewish attorneys are the definition of niggers. I've had my bike stolen by you-know-who. And the definition of a nigger, to me, is an overpriced Jewish attorney. And he knows it. And that's why when Hunter Biden called him out and said, $875 an hour, nigga, you charging me those Hennessy rates. That's what he said. And I'm like, Hunter Biden should run for fucking president. Got to jump off a good stream so far. Oh, thanks, Coach Bear. Let's not, the hour's getting late. Let's not talk falsely now. No one that's not insane is offended by a word. So you're going to pretend it's more offensive that the rich son of a president called his Jewish attorney a nigger, jokingly in an email, than the child porn being taught at schools. How come John Voight hasn't said one name of one person in Hollywood who's doing sexual role play with their children hiding behind something called transgender children? Not one name, John? Jesse Thorne? Maybe, is it because of your relationship with Angelina? Because she ended up fucked up. So his own daughter's drinking her brother's blood on the red carpet at 15. But that doesn't offend him. What offends John Voight is that the president's crackhead son, emailed the word, you know how many times I've emailed the word nigger? Thousands. Dude, every day I emailed Barricade Garage. I just that one word in the title. Because I know when he hears the word, he can't function. And I like to keep him in chains. Ask Barricade Garage. Go ahead and ask him. Be like, you know, every day he opens up his email. He's like, oh, what am I going to see today? And all it sees is from Owen Benjamin. It's just one word in the title. Nigger. Oh, the rest of the email is blank? And so what is Barricade? He can't handle it. He becomes a baby. He goes, man, well, I'm not going to fix some cars today, do some funny comedy. And he goes, oh no, someone said the word. I just saw, was he a white man who said it? Oh, Jesus, it was Owen Benjamin. And then he just puts chains on his wrists and he sits there and goes, we shall overcome. We shall over. And then the rest of the day, he doesn't get to fix any cars. He doesn't get to make any funny videos because I've taken his power from him with one word. He just immediately just goes, what am I supposed to say? We shall overcome today. The white man said the word. And all I have to do is whisper it. I do parentheses. I write, this is what I do every day to Barricade Garage. I just write nigger, period, subject, and then parentheses, he whispered. Because I want him to know that I don't even say it loudly. I just go, nigger. And Barricade is like, man, I'm about to fix a car. I'm having a great... Archie, it's the word. We shall overcome. No, the real problem, John Voight, is you were a terrible dad and a terrible man. You lied for a living in the most evil industry in the world and never spoke truth to power once. But no, someone emailing the word nigger to their Jewish lawyer is not actually offensive. Has your daughter ever smoked crack? I bet your daughter's no stranger to a certain color of penis. And I'll just leave it at that. All right. Any super chats, Kyle? We got entropystream.live/app/Owen Benjamin Comedy. Could it be they're almost all open for business? Oh, Brad Pitt has been turned out by gangs of gay men. Yeah. And so they're going to, so John Voight's going to pretend that his former son-in-law or his former, being turned out, quote unquote, turned out, made a butt boy, being told to hold the pocket of gaggles of Jewish men, allegedly, is not offensive. That's fine. Guys, how else are you supposed to get the role in A River Runs Through It if you're not going to let Ira and the gang turn out your rectum? So now you got to wear fucking Depends diapers for the rest of your life. Hunter Biden would laugh at your jokes. I like Hunter Biden. I think the dude is in pain. All right. The daughter was running around with Billy Bob Thornton. That was definitely a trip. Yeah. Brad Pitt, the future face of Depends. Barricade just super chatted you, and it just says honky. He really did? Hang on a second. Now I can't function. I've been called to name. Oh, Jesus. Not the word honky. Oh, my white skin. Oh, my God. The devils from my skin. That's really funny. Barricade did a whole video about how funny Hunter Biden was. It's obviously the funny take. For all the right-wingers to pretend that they're now left-wing 2019 is so stupid and boring and gay. It's like, so people are literally going to pretend that they're now offended by words. Keep crushing, BB. Why, thank you, Louisiana Black Bear. Oh, no. Did you hear me say the word? Finksburg Bear. Think about how insulting it is to blacks. Should I just refer to them? Oh, that's a Red Bar joke. Give them credit where credit's due. Should I just refer to them as the poor or the masses? Is it more offensive, more or less offensive just to be like, look at a bunch of blacks and go, oh, the poor are here. Or, oh, look, it's the masses. Our BB, been a busy couple days out at Barefoot Manor, so I haven't been able to catch live lately, but hope you and Amy and the boys are great. Thank you, Finksburg Bear. The Mitby Ninth House is looking awesome, brother. Thank you, and it would never have been built if I wasn't kicked off Airbnb. Because they have to protect me from the blacks. Because if they hear me whisper a certain word, they won't be able to do anything that day. Just built my first fence this past week for our ducks and chickens, and the non-tangible reward crushes fiat. Exactly. Oh, and for those of you that weren't here in the beginning, I now have my entire website telling the story that is me. About Owen, go to owenbenjamin.com. About Owen, comedy specials, popular streams. Barricade, speaking of Barricade Garage, he's actually in this. He's one of the popular streams. People really like that one. Pink Floyd's Time Magazine, What Killed MySpace, Tom Barnett, Barricade Garage, The Dean Show, Blonde from Belly and the Beast. All right, so yeah, go check out the actual. I'm a comedian, guys. If I was whispering the word nigger for comedic effect and I was the county commissioner, yeah, you can have a problem with that. I get that. I'm not a middle school teacher or a priest. I will never, ever give up the gifts God has given me, which are to make people fucking laugh. But that's why I'll never run for any office, which is why I'll have my guys do that. And now I understand how they selected Biden. They literally just said, that guy will fucking do it. And that's why directing anger at Biden and not the behavior that led us to that monstrosity. Do I actually like Hunter Biden? No, I probably wouldn't want to be around him. He's one of those like coked out rich kids. It's like, but I think there's a vulnerability and innocence about him that I like. He lived with a black crackhead lady stealing bikes for like a year while his dad was vice president. I think that's really funny. I like Hunter Biden. I think he gets it. I think he's probably been victimized by you-know-who if he ever left his bike unlocked. I bet Hunter Biden's dad was busy in the Ukraine with young Hunter, 9-year-old Hunter, after his mom was possibly murdered by his dad, allegedly. Could it be? I mean, guys, people don't just die like that. I mean, he literally, Joe Biden's wife and son, baby, die in a car accident. Then his other son dies. Don't get me wrong. I know tragedy happens, but like, and now he's president. Like, dude, we're talking about blackmail abilities that are just insanity. And then Biden marries his nanny. You don't think the media doesn't like Joe Biden. They like their agenda. And so any dumb fuck that goes along with their insane agenda, they'll be like, look at how smart Joe Biden is. He's the least creepy guy we've ever seen. Isn't that right? CIA operative Anderson Cooper, allegedly. Is the minute Joe Biden is like, you know what? I like the Keystone Pipeline. They're like, so who exactly is Jill Biden? Is it the nanny that you were fucking right before your wife died mysteriously? Do we want to look into that a little bit, Joe? Joe, didn't you say in a speech that your family were coal miners because you were plagiarizing everybody's speeches? Blackmail and black magic. It's all the same shit because it's like they do black magic rituals. It's why I believe a lot of these power brokers look like other famous people. Like John Podesta looks like Chester Benningfield or whatever. And like Justin Trudeau looks like Castro. My opinion, I cannot prove this obviously, is the elite, quote unquote, like the power brokers of this world have group sex. It's not new. It's an ancient tradition. Why? Because you're less likely to kill your enemy's family if you think it could be yours. They're that animalistic. So let's say you're in a world where like, you're the real, power brokers. And it's like, how do you try and lower your paranoia that you're going to be killed? Where it's like, you fuck each other's wives so that way you never know if you're killing your own offspring. Because it's hard to kill your own offspring. But some of these guys still do that, though. They don't care. All right. On to some better stuff. Hey, God, do we have any more Super Chats? Hang on. There's a couple. I know I missed a big chunk. I don't have any mail today because I guess no one gives a fuck about my P.O. box anymore. Oh, why does YouTube suck? Well, it's because everybody good gets kicked off. Oh, here's Pickle Bear. Nice. Hey, Big Bear. Quantum of Consciousness just did a video about how looking at the eclipse through the box is a reenactment of Plato's allegory of the cave. And it made me think of how you got in trouble for looking at the eclipse. Funny sync. Appreciate all you do, Cot. Yeah, totally. I got 5 days of in-school suspension in 8th grade for looking out the window at a eclipse. They said for me to sit down, and I said, no, nigger, you sit down. Granted, my teacher was a white woman. So I don't know if it was really the looking at the eclipse or calling her a nigger. I think it was both. I'm just kidding about the nigger part. I really did get 5 days of in-school suspension. I got 47 days that year of in-school suspension for doing stuff like looking at a solar eclipse. Guys, you can't make this up. Questioning pronoun lessons. I could see back then what they were up to. And pointing out that my drunk social studies teacher couldn't pronounce the word rhetoric. She called it rhetoric, and I said, well, my dad has his PhD in rhetoric. It's actually called rhetoric. And then they put me for 5 days in complete isolation where I wasn't allowed to interact with other kids or go to class. God, in my opinion, was setting me up for crushing in 2020. I needed the experience in 8th grade of being isolated so that I could look at a lockdown situation and not be afraid of it and realize it's way better than having to listen to dumb fucks not want to look at the solar eclipse. All right. Hey, Big Bear, thank you for your wonderful streams. I usually have hearing aids, but it's been broken for a while. Thanks for the funny jokes. Sorry for the small tips. It's fine. We just got a land that we are trying to pay off ASAP. Keep crushing, BB. We pray for all the bears daily to keep our community awesome. Indeed, and thank you very much. Chequan. Spider says a tip for the piano man, a little La Luna on the piano if you get a chance. I'll play that right now as I read the rest. Daryl says, children are God's gift. My daughter and her fiance asked me to marry them, and my wife was asked to be the maid of honor. We're so blessed. Could the bears and you wish Ashley and Brandon wealth and happiness? Of course, Ashley and Brandon, much wealth and happiness. Much love and blessings to all of you, Kentucky Bear. Richard says, I came in late and heard the end of the disability jokes. Haha. Can't wait to rewatch. Keep crushing, Big Bear and Cod. Thank you, Richard. Thank you for the tip. BB, you are funny and hilarious. The question is settled. Comedy science. The question is settled, comedy science. Keep crushing. Thank you, Finish Bear. Donna says, congratulations on the new website. Now I have something I can easily share when I'm trying to let others know about you. Signed, Lupus Bear 702. Thank you, Lupus Bear. Yeah, because I know a lot of you guys that really like the stream sometimes have a hard time explaining what I am. When it's like, man, you got to check out this dude. What is he? He's a comedian, but he ladles some hard gravy. And he's constantly called, like, he's attacked a lot in the media. Why is he a bad guy? No, it's because he wanted Hollywood. So he doesn't do anything crazy? No, he does crazy shit too, though. Like what? You just got to see it. So just send them owenbenjamin.com. They can watch specials, read my verifiable life story. Yeah, and see where I'm at. And then wherever I'm getting kicked off at that point, and I talked to Vox Day this morning about how good it is to stay on all these alternative platforms. We're always trying to send people to unauthorized.tv. Subscribe there, $5 a month, feed the bear, keeps our servers up. We're going to be launching apps, development, all this stuff. There's all kinds of people there that you're going to like. But at the same time, you got to leave the castle walls to, find more people to bring to the castle. And we do the same thing with Beartaria Times, the app. So, yeah, it's a great strategy where we just, no matter how many times I get kicked off stuff, I just keep popping up and you can find out where I am and then they'll do it again. I already read these one, Finksburg Bear and Louisiana Black Bear. Thank you. And if you want to super chat, entropystream.live/app/Owen Benjamin Comedy. I'm going to do 11 more minutes. I'm going to keep this at 2 hours. I'm trying to give myself actual, what's it called? Parameters. Structure. I'm playing this again. This video makes me laugh insanely hard.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that?
Yeah, but it's over. It's over, dude. The frogs are dead.
Crap.
The frogs are dead. All right, I think we have a new Anchor Bear song about something. Hang on, let me take a look. I think he teamed up with Board Game Bear. Anchor Bear. Let's take a look. Pandas are fake and gay with Board Game Bear. Here we go. Let's take a look at this. I hope this doesn't offend me. Imagine being like that. Hey, let's just hope this doesn't offend me. What a bunch of miserable cunts. All right, here we go. Let's just hope this doesn't offend me. I happen to know some Chinese pandas. Nice, boys. Let's do this.
I'm back on my Ching Chong Ping Pong bullshit. Send this track to China, top the charts, make a #1 hit. With a flow catchier than the Wuhan flu. Coming through your speakers loud and true. Cause your squinty eyes can see through lies. Pandas are just Rogans in disguise. What's black and white with lies all over. A midget in a suit that's hardly sober. And they got a straight craving for only bamboo. You've been bamboozled if you think that too. Pandas are real and I'm sick of it. Just Google the Tainan incident. It's time to take down this embarrassment. Keeping them alive is just another proof of man's arrogance. So let's end it once and for all. Pandas are real and Earth ain't a ball. Pandas, they sleep all day. Refuse to get laid in case you missed it. They're fake and gay, upside down, pissing. Pandas don't care what you say. There ain't no way they existed. They're fake and gay under fictions where they're listed.
There's no ancient descriptions of pandas in any Chinese history whatsoever. Before the late 1800s, there was no record of the existence of pandas.
Pandas are whack, the Asian white and the black. Nobody's timid to cut them slack, but there ain't no turning back. I can't unsee what I've seen, so let me tell you what I mean. Have you ever seen a bear flipped upside down while it's peeing? No bullshit. Nobody's seen one till 1869 by a French Jesuit. Yeah, right. Next to say they have carnivore teeth, but don't bite. Been to a Chinese jungle, not a panda bear in sight. They only live for 1 day out of the year. And when they feel threatened, they just bow down their dopey heads and sulk out of fear. You shouldn't have got me started. These Muppets are retarded. With the temperament so miles, no way in hell they survive in the wild. Swinging from trees like a drunk on a trapeze. These are midgets on their hands and knees are cheap robots from Chuck E. Cheese. Trying to convince you all to mystery. Just ask yourself why they never reference in ancient Chinese history. Pandas, they sleep all day. Refuse to get laid in case you missed it. They're fake and gay, upside down, pissing. Pandas don't care what you say. There ain't no way they existed. They're fake and gay under fictions where they're listed. Pandas, they sleep all day. Refuse to get laid in case you missed it. They're fake and gay, upside down, pissing. Pandas don't care what you say. There ain't no way they existed. They're fake and gay for all the reasons listed.
Nice job, boys. Go check out Anchor Bear. Yeah, there's a lot of propaganda out there. Instead of propaganda, I get it. Yeah, I mean, as soon as you see an animal that has to piss standing on its hands, you know it's not real. All right. 4,000 years of Chinese literature and art, not one panda. Not one. You can read like ancient, like the tale of Goji or whatever. Or Gobi. There's no pandas. You don't think that's all people would have talked about in the old Chinese literature? Confucius say the panda is like the man. Not one reference. But yeah, people will get angry and offended by that. Well, we'll just see how a little taste of starvation kind of changes their worldview. All right, entropystream.live/app/Owen Benjamin Comedy. Yeah, I'm Chinese, no panda in history. Yeah, Snazzy Bear is Chinese. There's no pandas in history. Kind of weird, right? Yeah. Almost like they were invented. I think the real laboratory incident in China has nothing to do with the virus. I think it has to do with creating a panda bear. Yeah, my husband thinks I'm crazy to think pandas aren't real, lol. And you're Chinese. What is he? Is he round eye? Tell that round eye that you know what the fuck you're talking about. You might be deaf, but you're Chinese. So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain. Can you tell a green field? My grandparents went back to China visit. They said, wow, now they have panda now. Ha ha, the Chinese get it. Did you explain? Yeah, he was round eye and he told me that your streams a few years ago. Nice, tell him I said much love. Thank you for spreading the word about the streams. But when it comes to pandas, tell that round eye devil that you know a lot more about Chinese than he does. Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts? Hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change. Shit, change. I'm just thinking about pandas. Could you exchange the walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? Oh, we tweaked the wound eye with Panda Bear. Confucius say, what black... I'm not doing a proper Chinese accent. Confucius say, what black, white, and Asian? Tiger Woods? No, fake Panda Bear. Confucius say, retard panda. Retarded bear who pees on own face on his hands, not wheel. Do Asian people who call out NASA prefer to be called flat eye? Says Coddington. Oh, Jesus. You're not allowed to be governor of Florida anymore. Hello? Is there anybody in there? Not if you can hear me. Is there anyone at home? Come on down. Oh, by the way, right now there are Jews and whites really offended about how I'm talking to Snazzy Bear because they now have to stand up for the deaf and the Chinese, even though she is a deaf Chinese person. Because a lot of these Jews and whites, they feel that they have to protect the Chinese and the handicap because they're no longer people. It's that crazy. And guys, even if you explain this to them, they just get mad because it's real. This is what I don't get when people are like, oh, the media is fake. Did you see what the media just did? I'm like, yeah, it's fake. They're like, but did you see? I'm like, why do you react this way? I'm not offended at all. Of course not. It's never the people, as the comedian, trust me, I'm the comedian, I know. It's never the people that are, Barricade Garage was not, I guarantee he was laughing his ass off at the bit I just did about destroying his day with one word. But I can read lips. Nice, Snazzy Bear. Deaf Chinese means you have to use sonar to get around. That doesn't make any sense, WSB. Leave the jokes to the good guys. I just need new hearing aids. That's fine. I was trying to do a Magic Johnson joke about hearing aids. Do you hear about the gay guy that got banged in his ear? He got hearing aids. I just made that up. That one's on the house. This is why I'm a national treasure. Did you hear about the dirty sodomite who took a dick in his ear? Jesus, what happened? He got hearing aids. He had to wear hearing aids. And then just do this. And they're like, you're a national treasure. How come they don't do hilarious jokes like this anymore on television? Just go, because they're trying to break your spirit for the economic collapse that's inevitable. Anyway, did you hear about the filthy, dirty sodomite in the Depends diapers that took a big black dick in his ear? See, the more, and I know that sounds gratuitous for no reason. It is for a reason. The more crazy it sounds, like the more you do this, the bigger you get a laugh on the pun. Because the pun is so dumb and childish and it's so not gratuitous. You know, like that, the bigger the contrast, it's like creating rain. I'm the Rain Man. I'm the rainmaker. It's like the more the high pressure and low pressure hit, the more you make the rain. So when you're like, did you hear about the dirty, disgusting sodomite who took a big black dick in his ear in one of his disgusting orgy parties? It's like, no, what happened? He got hearing aids. Do you see how it's like the more disgusting, the bigger the relief? All right, we got a little more super chat here, I think. It's not because I like gratuity. It's math. It's a system. Our kids are going to make it to the ice wall. My boy 7 is already teaching other kids about Earth, Tesla coils, and flat Earth. Proud dad indeed. Wonderful, Christopher. Keep it up. Yeah, the future is really bright because a lot of people alive right now can't handle the growing consciousness, the growing awareness of reality. Baby boomers. So they're freaking out. They're covering themselves with masks. They're whacking off all day. Just, a lot of the youth, I know it appears that a lot of them are being indoctrinated by, their schools. They're not, though. My childhood was insane. Like, they tried to fuck us up, too. Evil loves to fuck with kids. But the amount of awareness people have, nobody ever in my entire life ever even presented the possibility that Helen Keller could hear. Hey, Snazzy Bear, as a deaf Chinese woman, isn't the Helen Keller thing ridiculous? I know you can't hear, but wouldn't a British accent of a deaf person isn't that ridiculous? Kids are being indoctrinated by TikTok. Yeah, but some are also seeing shit on TikTok about the shape of the earth, Helen Keller. Just trust me on this. Things are going great. A few customers here still wear the mask here, and all of them are baby boomers. Yeah, they're losing their minds. Yes, yeah. That's why they want to atomize everybody, because they don't want big, tall, round-eye comedian to be friends with slant-eye deaf woman, because we can exchange information. Snazzy Bear just says, yes, it is crazy. Like, imagine a deaf person having a British... Deaf people talk like that. Like, they don't have a... My name is Ellen Keller. It's insanity. All right. Deaf, but unfortunately not dumb. Sesame Street tried to get us to like a sexual pervert who lived in a garbage can. Yeah, totally. And Tickle Me Elmo and all that. Yeah, it's disgusting. I mean, if you go back and watch old Henry Winkler PSAs and stuff, they're like trying to tell kids about their anus and their penis and their vagina. It's always... These fucking dirty grabblers have always been trying to get at the kids because their culture is based on molesting kids. Guys, I got to tell you guys a story and then I'm out of here. So my friend works with grabblers. And one of them is this woman who is having a party, and they're all super rich, urbanite, just dirty grabblers. And they had a bachelor party, and the one woman was like, I couldn't do coke and mushrooms with all my girlfriends, all in their 30s, all married to other super rich grabblers. I got to tell you this story. And then I'm out of here. And the grabbler woman was like, oh, yeah, and I couldn't take part because I'm breastfeeding. It sucks. And, after everyone got really fucked up, they all wanted to drink my breast milk. And my friend was like, what? And she's like, yeah, all the women wanted to drink my breast milk because they were all doing coke. And these are all, pinnacles of society. And they all call themselves Jews, obviously. But they're, dirty. And I got a theory at the end, but I just want to tell you this story. So my friend is like, what the fuck are you talking about, drinking your breast milk? And she was like, oh. She got offended that my Gentile friend, guys, swear to God, breast milk does taste good. Cody, disgusting. She got offended that he thought it was gross. And she goes, so you never drink your wife's breast milk? And he goes, no. And the woman's like, there's something wrong with you. My husband calls it, I'm not going to say that because I'm keeping the story completely away from my friend. So I'm not even going to say it, but it has a nickname for the milk. And my friend was like, this is disgusting. She's like, there's something wrong with you that you don't drink your wife's breast milk. And he asked me, he goes, dude, what do you think about that? I'm like, disgusting. Apparently your friend wasn't gentile with how he reacted. Oh, good one, Kyneton. This is my theory. And he wanted me to ask you guys if you find that disgusting. If you're blind and deaf, is sign language and braille? That's a good question. Just had a little taste one time. Yummy. Okay, this is what I think it is. I think because of the current environment, people are degrading back to childhood. Because 100% gross, yeah. It's dude, crazy. To like be a man and be like, can I get mommy milky? Dude, this is why the Milker Nation people are so angry at me. Because they fucking do. They do breastfeed. They're like, oh, mommy need milky. I'm not disgusting, but a bit strange, says Rebecca Bear. I think it's insane. And I'll tell you why. Do I think breast milk is disgusting? No. I think it's the food for children, obviously. But when I went to house parties years ago, the nicer the house, the weirder the party. Oh, yeah, and they always want you to turn out their wives. Fact. And if you haven't experienced that, don't get mad at me that you aren't one of the guys that they ask. Anyway, that's why people get killed by these people a lot. Just stay away. All right, hang on a second. So this is my theory, and tell me what you guys think. BB, have you ever thought about doing a soy goy remix in Ira's voice? No, I don't care about Jew jokes anymore. I swear to God, I find them tedious. The only reason I'm even bringing this up is because the J thing is a factor. Urban Jays right now, I think, are degenerating right before our eyes. Who call themselves Jays? I'm not talking about Toronto Joubert. That guy's getting it. Goldstein's getting it. Weiss is getting it. I'm not talking about a specific ethnicity or a religion. I'm talking about just a certain category of people. They're obsessed with being called Jews. They're atheists, materialists, and they're obsessed with drugs and money. Okay, you get it. I'm painting the picture. I'm watching in my lifetime that I think their excessive wealth, crazy unchecked wealth, and their victim narrative of the rollerblading incident that they can hide behind all the time has made them, and now they can't seem to cope with reality. Right now, it's like the political reality, the economic reality, all the truth that's coming to the surface, the freedom people have with the internet, how they can work anywhere, and people are like, I see a tremendous amount of spiritual growth happening right now. And so they can't handle it, because what happens when you live behind a lie, like the rollerblading incident for the Jays hurt them. How everywhere they go, oh, how dare you not let me, dismantle your nation and family. We were once attacked in World War II. Okay. The fact people agree to that, where they're like, it's kind of like the transgender thing. Like if you agree to the lie, to the nonsense, like if you act like someone wearing 3 masks and injecting themselves with mercury and aluminum is healthy, you're not helping them, because they start degrading. Then they're like, wait, did you hurt me? Like they see everything as attack. They think a word is an attack. They think owning a gun is terrifying because they're children again, right? So they're going backwards. So in my lifetime, I've watched these people go from like, they were always a little fucked up, don't get me wrong, but they were more like exciting. Like, when I was in Hollywood, I'd hang out with some of these urban atheist Jays, and like, I liked some of them. I still like some of them. Actually, I don't. Like, a lot of those guys have all degraded. They used to be better. I swear to God, they used to be better. And they're all the way back to like breastfeeding. Is BB streaming anywhere? Yeah. What happened to being a titty baby as a bad thing? Don't be a titty baby. This is what I've noticed. When I made fun of Nick Fuentes for breastfeeding from his mommy when he's an adult, the anger I've gotten, I thought was just kind of funny for a bit. And now, because I thought it was like hardcore Nick Fuente fans. And I'm like, okay, young people don't understand how to take a joke and all this stuff. And now I'm realizing it's because I've stumbled upon something much bigger than we ever thought. People are breastfeeding again as adults. And I think it's because they're reverting back to a childlike state, because they can't function anymore. You're watching it. You're like, these people right here. Like, let me show you. govern me harder, daddy, these people, they need to be dominated. That's why 50 Shades of Grey or, 50 Protocols of COVID, it's the same thing. It's like this draw to be dominated where you want a daddy figure to put a ball gag in your mouth, inject you, pump you, label you, put you in a closet, you guys get it. And so they're now at a point where they want to be coddled like a baby. I'm dead serious. They're developing fetishes for breast milk because they want to be a baby again. They never made it past. It's almost like there was a launch attempt to like become an adult, like a full spiritual being, and they didn't make it. And now they're starting to go backwards. And now they're like, everything I don't like is bad and offensive. Guys, only like even children, like I'm talking, they're like babies. My toddler kids are not like that. Arrested Development. Yeah, exactly. And so they're breastfeeding again. And so that's why when I was making fun of Nick Fuentes for breastfeeding from his mommy, I never thought he was actually breastfeeding from his mommy, guys. I was being very funny because he was this. I was tapping into something real that you have an adult making $1 million a year living with his mom in a Chicago suburb telling other grown men they're going to hell for not being Catholic. So, my attempt to make him know his place, which is as a child, is to mock him for being on the tit. It was a metaphorical tit about his mother. Leave the nest. It's like, oh, but he's saving money. He's so based. Okay, I just watched him get $500,000 in butt coin from someone out of France. So you don't think he has enough money to start his own life? And I believe in intergenerational family dwellings. Like I want my mother to be here, Amy's grandfather, in a rural setting where a lot of people have different responsibilities. Like if you have children, having your parents around is great. If you have a farm, uncles, aunts, cousins, it's wonderful. His environment is not that. It's Arrested Development. It's like if you're in a gated Chicago suburb living with your mom and dad without any agriculture or any like communal, no children, nothing, no babies, and all you do is bitch about how white people are oppressed. It's like, where's your white babies? Okay, so then the obvious joke is you call him a milky man, milker, little titty milky baby. Because in my day, that was offensive. If someone said that you're a little milky titty baby, it was like, no, I'm not. I'm becoming a man. Guys, they're like, yeah. And now it's taken me a while to really, because like a whole fucking YouTube movement went against me. They're called like Milker Nation. I'm like, wow, these guys love Nick Fuentes. They're fucking going through all my old videos, trying to make me look crazy. I'm like, man, they have loyalty to Fuentes, but how is this even possible? This doesn't seem real. And then I was like, is someone paying them? And now I'm like, oh my God, they're breastfeeding. And they're now really mad because my friend, when he confronted this grabbler woman, babbler, the females are called babblers, about how breastfeeding from your wife is bad, she got really mad. She was like, you're fucking weird. And he was like, bro, have you ever, and he like had this look of, I wouldn't call it fear, but almost like stunned, where he was like, am I the crazy one? And I'm like, no, that's crazy. I got like a squirt of it once in my mouth. I'm not going to get into the details. It's private. It's too much information. But to want to breastfeed from your wife is fucking crazy. Because it's like you've become a baby again. All right. What's white mean though? My mom and my skin is lighter than most white people. When you say white, you assume that you can't blindfold us with dental floss. I understand that the Chinese believe they have white skin, but when we say white, it comes with the idea that we can show the emotion of surprise. You see, like a Chinese, when they're surprised, they look like they're sleepy. Here's a quick song about whites. We get red when the sun is hot, blue when it gets cold, Green when we're on a ship too long, and gray when we get old. And a ship too long, and brown in the summertime. Whites are the only people of color, and that suits us just fine. Blacks just get black or blue when you punch them in the face. But whites are all different colors. We're the most colorful human race. Sing it with me, unless you're gay. We get red when the sun is hot, blue when it gets cold, yellow when our liver fails, or gray when we get old. Green when we're on a ship too long, and brown in the summertime. Whites are the only people of color, and that suits us just fine. Chinese think they're white, and sometimes I think they're right. But their hair is black, and their eyes are black, and their eyes don't open up even when they're attacked. And the blacks just are different shades of black and a little bit of blue. They also are a little purple, like an eggplant, unlike the dirty Jew, who gets red when the sun is hot, blue when it gets cold. Sing unless you're gay. I love that, because everybody has to sing at that point. By the way, comedians used to just be like this, and then all of a sudden they all had to make believe that this isn't funny anymore. Sing unless you're gay. We get red when the sun is, and then everybody not singing is like, I'm not gay. We get red when the sun, depends how it's served. In a glass, I see no issue. Denmark Bear. Rebecca Bear. Wait a minute, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Glad I saw you here. Wait a minute, I think Rebecca Bear is defending breastfeeding. Adult men. Adult men. I'm not talking about babies, Rebecca Bear. Adult men. And I'm not talking about times of starvation. If you're in a starving time and you don't have a cow or something, yeah, you do what has to be done. All right. It is difficult to tell if the Chinese have been smoking weed, right? They're like, hey, we don't smoke weed. We just like this. And we Chinese. We play dogs. We go pee-pee in your cock. Depends how it's served in a glass. I see no issue. No, Rebecca. No. Rebecca Bear is so off the reservation right now. She's like, no, I want to feed grown men with my tits. I mean, think about that. We get red when the sun is hot. Blue and... Don't shame Rebecca Bear. She's just being honest, but I can do a little shaming. Yellow when our liver fails. Gray when we get old. Rebecca's Law might need an amendment regarding dairy. Yeah. Not tit feeding, just don't tell. What do you got? But just for the record, for my friend who's going to be watching this, the vast majority know it's crazy. What I will make a statement is it's like, if you get mad that someone finds it crazy that you breast milk feed as an adult, you're crazy. Okay, if you, the proper response would be like, yeah, I know it's kind of weird, but, you know, you can't be like, no, you're fucked up. All right. We get red when the sun is hot, blue when it gets cold, yellow when our liver fails, gray when we get old, green when we're on a ship too long, and brown in the summertime. Whites are the only people of color, and that suits us just fine. And Barricade Garage gets black, and different kind of shades of black, where meanwhile his hunky friend gets all kind of shades. All right, that's it. God, anything else? In times of need, yes, but not regular feedings. No, it emasculates men. Imagine a grown man going, can I get milky? And dude, I'm telling you, it's because civilization is reverting to childlike state. And babies are real, like, fucking weird with that stuff. They're just like, I used to call them milk zombies. Oh my God, I used to call them milk zombies. So much fucking gravy. I used to sell bibs for babies that said milk zombie on it because I used to do a bit that my baby would look at me like, my tit now. My tit now. You know, this whole joke. And I'm like, they're like milk zombies. Like, give me milk. You know, I had all these bits about babies' milk. Dude, zombies are milk zombies. So now that we're seeing zombies, like legitimate fucking zombies, this picture is literally like that's like a photograph. The Govern Me Harder Daddy NPC. Like, now that we're seeing zombies, they literally are going to milk. I think these zombie people are becoming babies again. Wow. And so what do zombies want? They want milkies. That's why Milker Nation got so fucking mad at me. They formed an identity based on what they secretly want, which is to breastfeed as adults. Holy shit. Huge gravy overload today. Or I'm done. I've done enough today. God, are we caught up? Definitely check out my website, because I get it. Like, if I'm mocking that and you're into breastfeeding, you're going to get really mad at me. Like stalking and threatening. I think Rebecca Bear is finally going to say I was with you, Big Bear. She's been one of the most loyal bears since day one. Just a legendary human being. And I think today she's going to join a Gamma Hive. Rebecca Bear is just going to go into Gamma Hive and be like, you guys were right. He doesn't understand us. And everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, no way. Did he abuse you too? Let's blog about it. And Rebecca Bear is going to be like, if it's in a glass, it's okay, right? And they're going to be like, of course it is, Rebecca Bear. Now tell us. Now tell us. And then Rebecca Bear is just going to say, I was with you, Big Bear. I was with you when you went to the fucking moon landing. But not allowing a grown woman to breastfeed her fucking husband is just going too far, Big Bear. A little more infantilization and they'll be eligible for abortion. Could it be? Whoa. We used to do bits about, like, I want to give you a 3,000-month abortion. Like, I used to do bits about this shit where I'm like, oh, it's just I used to calculate, like, how many months old someone was. I know that, like, let's say someone was, if someone's 12, it's 144-month abortion. You know, I'd be like, oh, I'm just going to give you a 400-month partial birth abortion. It means I'm going to kill you. You're just a clump of cells. Like, I was showing the absurd. At that point, I thought that people would see the absurd hypocrisy of it. Like, how many month-old abortion? Okay, you're a fucking 200-month-old abortion. I'm going to abort you. And, of course, that's when I started realizing that they don't care. They're like, ah! So now I'm just entertaining my people. You know, every truther gets to the point where you look at the zombies and you go, but don't you see, though? And they go, Milky gave me the vaccine. You're a bigot. And so I'm like, okay, it's not right. Leave the milk for the baby. It's fucking weird. You're like one step away from being burped. Like, imagine your wife being like, Milkies. Oh, God, I can't even imagine it. Oh, because it's always these urban Jays doing this shit. Because they're like, I've been bad at work today, Mommy. I took a bunch of money from the Goyim. And they're like, you want your Milky? Oh. Adult breastfeeding. Yes. 6%? No. 94%. Thank you, Connington Bear. Fuente shows up at Rebecca Bear's house with a cup. Oh, I know. It's terrible. Rebecca Bear, don't leave us. Don't leave us. Rebecca Bear is this close. She just probably YouTube Milker Nation. She's ready to start commenting. You know, I used to like Owen. He lost his mind. This chat makes me feel so normal. Burn the 6%. Don't burn the 6%, Denmark Bear. We're talking about Rebecca. I think it's crazier when it's the male. I don't know. I'm not going to defend Rebecca Bear's stance on this. She has a lot of thinking to do about this. If it's from your mother, you can drink it. Not as an adult. No, that's crazy. That's literally craziness. I'm not lactating, says Rebecca Bear. I know. This turned south fast. That's all right. Rebecca Bear's fine. I know she's not really going to leave. How funny would it be, though, if she really did? If she was like, I was with you, Big Bear. I was with you through all these trials and tribulations, but God damn it. if I'm not allowed to lactate into the mouth of my own husband, what kind of fucking America am I? And I'm just saying it's weird. I'd still be your friend, Rebecca Bear. I'd be like, but you'd have to have a little shame in your eyes. You'd have to be like, hey, listen, I'd still be your friend. I'd still be like, oh, cool, Rebecca Bear's here. I wouldn't be mad, but like, you can't be like, you're crazy for thinking this is at all weird. All right. Not going to drink my mom's titty milk. No. He's still selling honey? Serious question because of the theme going on. Yeah, Rebecca Bear is selling honey. She makes wonderful honey. By the way, I'm just playing around with Rebecca Bear. No one's mad at Rebecca Bear. All right, that's going to be it for me today. Fucking Nature Man. We just avoid a certain topic. Yeah, standards, BB standards. Thank you, Denmark Bear. Thank you. No, you don't burn the 6%. That's not the standards. Burn the pedos, sure, once we get the proper political offices. But in times of need, do the deed. Rebecca Bear. Yeah, but see, the Romanians are a lot like the Ukrainians, where they keep pretending like they're in dire times when they're not. Like the Ukrainians are like, it's been 6 hours since we've eaten. Time to eat the kids. And then they're like, oh, the Jew made us do the Holodomor. No. You guys had fork and knife in hand. The Romanians are the same way. They're like, oh, the communists took over. Time to do mommy milky. No, it's been an hour. Like the Romanians literally are like, the communists have made it a little hard to have a cow. So, when in need, do the deed. I'm like, you've been looking the whole time for an excuse. Same with the Ukrainians. They've been eyeballing their kids for years. Just going, And then finally, the stupid Jays come in like, oh, send us over your farms. Oh, you guys defaulted on your debt? Yeah, don't take debt, Ukraine. You always fucking leave that part out of the Holodomor. You didn't have the land. You were in debt to the grabblers. So it's like all these people are like, oh, we had to eat our children. We shall overcome. You didn't even try eating bark. You didn't even try eating dirt. You know you can eat dirt. Why would I eat dirt when I have my kid? I mean, what? They still had canned tuna fish and shit, and they were going after the kids. Land of milk and honey, eh? Oh, Denmark Bear. Yeah, Rebecca is providing literally milk and honey. Jesus. All right, Romanian, Ukrainian families have a kid for dinner with a glass of milk. This is getting really insane. All right, any final super chats? If you enjoyed the stream, enter bstream.live/app/OwenBenjaminComedy. There was no mail today at my P.O. box, which means I guess no one gives a fuck anymore because they're drunk on lactation. Everybody's got a tummy ache from sucking on their mommy's titties as adults, so no one wanted to send a letter and a super chat to P.O. Box 490, Sandpoint, Idaho, 83864. Yeah, I guess you got your priorities all straightened out, everybody. I got to go milk 8 goats right now. 8 goats, not humans. And by the way, you can super chat at any time of the day and we'll read it tomorrow. So I'll still be doing a stream tomorrow. No stream Friday. I have something to do Friday. So enter bstream.live/app/OwenBenjaminComedy, unauthorized.tv, Beartaria Times, the app and the website, unbearablesmedia.com, and also launching today, OwenBenjamin.com. Send it around. Wherever people are talking shit, just simply leave my website. Because it doesn't matter what they think. It's the looky-loos. If somebody wants to know about my life, send them to OwenBenjamin.com and spread the word about this shit. Let them know that I'm my own platform. I'm going to be getting kicked off shit. And if you want to see where I'm at that week, go there. All right, be fruitful, multiply, don't be fruity and blow, guy. Pandas are fake and gay.